700 women are underwater right now, sealed inside steel tubes barely wide enough to walk through. They sleep in metal racks stacked so tight there is no room to sit up. They shower in bursts that last 20 seconds because water does not last. They share one bathroom with over 100 sailors, using nothing but timing and trust. These submarines were built decades ago when female crew members were not part of the plan. The hulls never expanded. Compartments never changed. Yet somehow, women have been living this way since their first deployment. So how did the Navy make room inside a submarine that was already full? When the Navy announced in April 2010 that women would serve on submarines, the fleet was already deployed. Ohio-class ballistic and guided missile submarines were running patrols across the Atlantic and Pacific. Each boat carried a crew of 155 sailors, living inside a hull designed decades earlier when integration was not even a consideration. The berthing compartments were full. The staterooms were assigned. Every locker, rack, and square foot served a specific operational purpose. The hulls were not getting bigger. No one was adding compartments or expanding berthing areas. The crew size stayed the same because that number was tied to watch rotations, maintenance schedules, and mission requirements. Integration had to happen inside the exact same space where male-only crews had lived and worked for decades. The first female officers would report within months, and somehow the Navy had to make room where no room existed, so they rearranged what was already there. Existing staterooms got reassigned. Curtains went up in berthing areas. Partitions appeared in passageways. Lockable doors replaced open entryways. Female officers moved into rooms that had always housed male officers. Enlisted women took over berthing sections that generations of enlisted men had called home. Nothing structurally changed about the submarine itself. What changed was how every inch of that limited space got divided, coordinated, and shared. And that arrangement dictates everything that happens next. Sleep on a submarine does not follow a clock. It follows a watch schedule. Every sailor gets assigned a rack, a metal bunk stacked 3 high along berthing compartment walls. Each rack measures 6 feet long and 2 feet wide, just enough space to lie flat. A thin curtain hangs across the opening. Inside sits a small reading light, a shallow storage bin, and maybe a photo taped to the wall. The boat operates on an 8-hour watch rotation. One section stands watch while another sleeps, and a third handles maintenance, training, or meals. But here is where things get interesting. There is no night underwater. No sunrise signals the start of a day. No sunset marks its end. Time stops being a natural rhythm and becomes purely task-based. One sailor might sleep from midnight to 6 in the morning. Another sleeps from noon to 6 in the evening. For female crew members, sleeping arrangements fit into this same rotation. Officers share staterooms with lockable doors. Enlisted women occupy partitioned berthing sections, separated from male crew areas. On early integrated boats, if there were not enough women to fill a section, empty racks stayed empty to preserve boundaries. Sleep happens when the schedule allows it, not when the body demands it. Privacy comes from coordination, not from walls. And after a few weeks underwater, the body stops fighting it. Time becomes meaningless. Only the watch rotation matters. But the real challenge is not when sleep happens. The real challenge is staying clean when water runs out in seconds. If you respect how these women adapt to conditions most people could not imagine, write respect in the comments. Every drop of fresh water on a submarine gets made from seawater. Modern nuclear boats generate thousands of gallons through reverse osmosis systems, but that supply disappears fast when split between drinking, cooking, equipment cooling, and hygiene for over 100 people. The shower routine is the same for everyone. Turn the water on for 10 seconds, get wet, turn it off, soap up, shampoo, turn the water back on for 10 seconds, rinse, done, 20 seconds of running water total. This is called a Navy shower, and it uses about 3 gallons, compared to 60 gallons for a normal shower at home. On some boats, showers happen once a week during long patrols. On others, daily showers are allowed, as long as the 2-minute rule holds. But this is where things get interesting. Hygiene is not just about staying clean. The air inside a submarine gets recycled continuously. Humidity stays trapped. In close quarters, infections spread faster. Routines must be strict, and supplies must be planned months in advance. Medical lockers get stocked before departure with antibiotics, treatments for infections, and full inventories of menstrual supplies. Many female submariners choose menstrual suppression through birth control to avoid periods entirely during deployments. For those who do not, supplies last the full 70 to 90 days at sea. Used products go into sealed trash bins, stored until the next port visit. Nothing gets flushed. Everything gets planned. Hygiene happens through discipline, not convenience. And if staying clean requires that much planning, feeding an entire crew in a space smaller than most closets requires something close to magic. Food gets loaded before the boat leaves port. No resupply happens at sea. Storage fills every available corner. Canned goods line walkways. A freezer the size of the galley itself holds frozen meat, packed floor to ceiling. Dried supplies sit stowed under mess deck benches. A 90-day supply gets calculated down to the last meal. The galley measures 10 feet by 12 feet, smaller than most home kitchens. Inside this space, a small team of culinary specialists prepares 4 meals every 24 hours for a crew of 130 to 150 people. 2 convection ovens, 1 fryer, 2 boiler pots, and 1 griddle handle all the cooking. Everything runs on electricity because fire is forbidden. Meals do more than fill stomachs. They create structure. The mess deck seats only 24 people at once, so the crew rotates through in shifts. In a world with no daylight, meal times become the only reference points. Breakfast call, lunch service, dinner rotation, midnight rations. Culinary specialists work continuously, preparing the next meal while the current one gets served. Food is fuel, but it is also the rhythm that keeps everyone grounded when everything else blurs together. And that rhythm only holds because privacy is not a right. It is a system. Privacy on a submarine is not just a space. It is a coordination system. Bathrooms, called heads, serve the entire crew from small compartments no bigger than closets. When someone needs to use a head, a sign goes up. Others wait. The system requires timing and mutual respect because there is no alternative. Sleeping areas operate the same way. Female officers share staterooms with lockable doors. Enlisted women occupy berthing sections with partitions or curtains marking boundaries. But nothing is fully private. Sound travels through steel. People walk through berthing areas at all hours because the boat never stops operating. Showering, changing clothes, and using the bathroom all require awareness of who else needs access and when. Privacy is not guaranteed. It is managed within the same limits that control sleep, water use, and meal times. The submarine provides access, not isolation. And that access gets coordinated through schedules, signs, and unspoken agreements that everyone aboard understands because survival depends on it. The submarines still patrol the same waters. Missions still run on the same schedules. Watch rotations still cycle every 8 hours. Female submariners earn their dolphins the same way every other submariner has since the qualification system started, through months of study, oral boards, and proving they can operate every system on the boat. The steel tube does not care who sleeps in the racks or who stands the watch. It only cares that the work gets done.